What's up, man? How you doing today? Growing stronger? I bet you are. If you read my letter today, you're definitely on the path to becoming a stronger version of yourself. You can read it down below. In that letter this morning, I wrote about how exercise is medicine, right? And we take it for granted that, an exercise is an exercise, but there are parameters that can be adjusted to give your body a different physiological response and ultimately make you a different version of yourself. Very quickly, if you take running, for example, as an exercise, well, there's many different ways to apply running by adjusting the parameters, right? Are you running long distances, right? Yes, I'm running, right? I'm going to get a different physiological response doing this than if I did this, right? Sprinting. Very simple. Are you sprinting or are you jogging? What are the parameters associated with it? Are you going for long intervals with low intensity or short intervals with high intensity, right? So exercise in and of itself is powerful, but it needs to be applied appropriately in order to give us the physiological and characterological or mental response we want. Might sound strange, but there is going to be a psychological effect of running long distances for marathon type preparation versus sprinting. You have to have a different mindset, and the body's the mind. So the way you train your body, the way you treat yourself is going to affect how you behave, how you feel about yourself. It's all very obvious and normal, and if you need proof, just try it out. See how you change both your physical body, right? Because you're applying the exercises differently, so you're going to change physically. But how you change? You're going to be a different version of yourself. All stimulus is medicine. The food we eat is a stimulus. It's medicine. Try eating a different food than you normally eat, and you're going to get a different physiological response. We take it for granted that food is medicine. We take it for granted even that some of the drugs that we take on a daily basis, although we don't think of them as drugs any longer because we're so used to taking them, things like caffeine and coffee, that they're medicine. You take it and you get a physiological response that changes your character. Go to someone who doesn't drink, who drinks coffee every day, right? That's the best way to try it out. And then ask them not to have their medicine today and how they're going to feel. They're going to be grumpy, they're going to be miserable, they're going to have headaches. They're all fucked up because they didn't take their medicine. Coffee is medicine. Caffeine is medicine. Exercise is medicine. Someone who exercises all the time, you tell them not to exercise, they're going to feel different. We need to recognize this. Medicine isn't just the chemical concoctions that the pharmaceutical companies have created and forced down our throats in order to fix fake problems like eyelashes that are too short and shit like that. I think they might even have some pills for my eyebrows, since mine are thinning out as I get older, right? So I might have a problem, I gotta take a pill. But that's not the only type of medicine. Even our thoughts are medicine, right? It's a little different because we're not taking something. So the difference needs to be recognized between intrinsic and extrinsic medicine. And extrinsic medicine is a dose of something that you take and bring into you. Intrinsic medicine is something that you do, or something that you take in which is not physical. In a way, music is medicine, right? We don't ingest music, but be very mindful of how you're responding to the music that you listen to. If you're scientific about your media consumption, music consumption in particular, like I am, you're going to listen to different types of music to be different versions of yourself. From moment to moment. Put on some Rage Against the Machine. Put on some hardcore, heavy metal, rock music. You will feel different. Now, depending on how open you are to the vibration, it might irritate you and you have to get out of the room, or it might open you up and turn you into a raging beast that will allow you to deadlift more weight in the gym, or attack someone on the football field a little harder since you were listening to it in the pregame. You see what I'm saying? It changes your attitude. It changes who you are. And over time, the music that you listen to, you become. You start acting out what you've been putting in. It's all very normal and natural. I know say this to point fingers. I say this because I fucking do it. Right? So for example, earlier on in my career, when I was behaving, I needed to access a certain way of being. for my activities in the gym and activities in business, and I listened to a lot of really rageful music, and it was good for me. It got me through those times. And you could see even in my character that there's a lot of rage and anger and fury and aggression coming out in my language, and just my being. I was taking medicine to make that happen, right? Not steroids, not loads of pre-workouts. I was listening to music. I listen to reggae music when I'm at home or when I'm trying to contract as opposed to expand, hard, heavy metal music's very expanding. Gets your energy out. Reggae music, some forms of it, like, Bob Marley. I like listening to Iration and Revolution. J-Boog is one of my favorites. It's more, it's more internal. It's more contracting or absorbing type music, because the rhythm is inside you, and it's not like you're not gonna do a mosh pit to reggae music, right? Because mosh pits are out. Reggae music, do a little sway by yourself and maybe with a lady. You can take it one step deeper, and like when I come to my office, when I'm ready to do some writing or do some work, I put on classical medicine. I listen to classical music because it sedates me, it keeps me even, it keeps me focused, and I like the way my body feels. I like the response it's giving me, the physiological and characterological response, psychological, energetic response to listen to the classical music. So it's with all types of music. I love listening to rap music when I drive. I like listening to Cube and Drake and Meek Mill. Those are some of the new artists. 50 Cent, of course, Ice Cube, 50 Cent. This is music that's medicine, that when you listen to it, you take on the behaviors. Now be mindful, I've mentioned this in other videos, be mindful of the medicine that you're taking. Because if you get a result that you don't want, like say for example, you listen to music that denigrates women, that's misogynistic in a way, or you listen to people who are that way, and you really absorb, and you engage, and you emotionalize the content, the medicine, which is what normally happens with the physiological response. You start taking on those characters, and you got to ask yourself, hey, is this working out for me or not, right? If you're listening to misogynistic music, or you're listening to music that denigrates women, and you can't seem to have a stable relationship with a woman, and every time you deal with a woman, you end up cheating on her, or she cheats on you, or you don't respect each other, and you're going to end up old and alone, which, that might be okay for you. But you got to ask yourself, is that what I want? If it's not, then you take different music, take different medicine. All right? So this is my long way of kind of coming full circle with what I would like this message to portray today, which is I want you to look at the medicine you're taking in your life with regard to the habits you engage in and how you do them. Like I mentioned earlier, the way you adjust your parameters in your exercise program are not just going to give you a physical response. Meaning, you do high volume, time under tension bench pressing. You're going to build big chest, pesticles, chesticles. You're going to have big triceps, your shoulders, you know that type of response you're going to get, but you're also getting an energetic response, just like with the music, you might be bouncing your body, but you're also feeling a certain way. When you subject yourself to the medicine of heavy bench pressing over time, it doesn't just affect your chest size, it affects who you are, it affects your character, it affects your character structure. Because your body changes, whenever your body changes with whatever it is that you're doing, be it acute or chronic, there's an acute change with the music that you listen to, but there's a chronic change over the course of listening to the same music for years. There's an acute response to weightlifting, but there's a chronic response over the years. And like I said before, with the dude that listens to music that's misogynistic, he might be getting fucked up in his relationships because of the medicine that he's been taking over time. If you keep doing the same thing you're doing in the gym, and you're not getting the results that you want in your life, it's because it's affecting your character in a way that isn't resourceful. That's not helping you. So you're going to ask yourself, what's more important, the outer shell, and I don't say that in a way that lessens its value. I know there's great value in aesthetics. There's great value in having a good looking body. But if it's at the expense of other things, you've got to ask yourself if this is the right medicine for me. If you're spending all your time building up a certain particular body and it requires a certain amount of time, energy, resources, and focus in order to make that happen at the expense of, say, your career, your school, your relationships, your life mastery as a whole, or anything else that you value, then maybe it isn't the right medicine and you've got to check yourself. The only question that really ever matters is how that's working out for you. And you got to look at how the things that you're doing, the exercises, the habits, the rituals that you engage in on a daily basis which make the response chronic, your physiological and psychological response chronic, are they helping me or are they hurting me? I think one of the issues is that we don't believe we've got options, or we don't know that there are other options and the benefits that are associated with the other options. Right? So, for example, it took me a long time, right? Because I started my exploration with physical training using a barbell and dumbbells and strength training, barbell training in my basement for football when I was a kid. I also took it one step further. I said baseball, football. Never played baseball. I don't know how that slip came out. I played t-ball, and I was horrible at it. And I'd be out in the outfield just picking daisies and the ball would roll by. So my parents realized it ain't gonna work out for him. So I played football. Because football is just more my style. But I started weight training, and then I took it one step further with strongman training. Now, boy, I look back in retrospect, and that's why I have all this wisdom. That's why I can tell you guys all these things. Because I just look back at my life and say, that's funny how that worked out. Interesting correlations. It might be worth sharing. When I was in my expansion mode, when I was expanding my energy in the world through my career, right? Expanding my sexual energy by building my family, right? Growing children during this stage of my life. I'm talking, 5 years ago or so, 2 years ago, wasn't too long ago, right? But I can look back. It's enough time for me to look back and say, boy, I expanded my life, but I also expanded my body. I was the biggest I ever was during my expansion mode of life creation, life mastery, expansion also coupled with physical expansion. The grind and the hard work and the commitment and the discipline and the devotion that I had to strongman training transferred into my being able to do the same for my family, do the same for my career, do the same for my business, do the same for my vocation, do the same for these videos that I make for you guys. As time goes on and life requires different versions of me, my exercise programs have to change. And so do yours. If I'm in the stage of enduring, trying to sort things out and figure them out and create some sort of stability with my life, my family, my children are getting older, my business, then the exercises that I might engage in are a bit more long-winded. Like that's a good time, or it was a good time, for me to engage in adventure racing, right? Because of the commitment to the long haul. Overcoming obstacles. But keep going, right? Very different than taking a 300-pound stone and going, like I've done. Changes you. It changes you not just physically. I want to lose weight. I have lost weight. Changes my mind, changes my character, changes your way of being, because exercise is fucking medicine. Most of what I do these days revolve around, as far as my medicine is concerned, and I'll talk far more about this in coming videos in the coming months and so forth, but I just think it's very important for you to know that a day doesn't go by where I don't do bioenergetic breathing or Tai Chi, energy cultivating exercises. Right? When you're in a mode of growth, you need to do things that are anabolic. And oftentimes anabolism cannot be accessed unless there is rest, recovery. So in the same way that sleep is necessary because it gives you that dose of anabolic juice in order to help you recover from your activities of the day, you can support that anabolic boost by doing exercises that stimulate your nervous system in the very same way that sleep does. Parasympathetic stimulation through breathing exercises, right? I mean, I almost change instantly based on the way I breathe. I've done videos, you've seen them, and I think I'll have Nanny link it up here somewhere, where I'm showing you how to use breathing to draw your energy up. I've done videos like this. Well, that's exercise. It's medicine. In the same way that slow, rhythmical breathing coupled with slow, deliberate movement offers a different physiological and psychological response. Every thought you have, every food you eat, every exercise you engage in, and every relationship that you have is medicine. Are you taking the right medicine in the right doses for what you want in life? Done.